Watch Awesome Video Game Memories on Amazon Prime for exclusive episodes and extra content. Link down below in the description. Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're going to talk about today is Resident Evil 2, the remake! Oh my god, yes! So ever since Resident Evil 1 was remade on the GameCube in 2002, many fans like myself were all wondering, you know what, I can't wait for the Resident Evil 2 remake to happen. I mean, it's gonna look as awesome as Resident Evil 1 that was remade, and it's awesome and stuff, man, yeah! But then after that, we kinda got a little bit of a half-assed GameCube port of the game, okay, whatever. And then Resident Evil 4 comes out, and I'm like, it would be so awesome if they remade Resident Evil 2, like Resident Evil 4, focusing more on the action this time? Well, then after that, we got Resident Evil 5, 6, 7, Revelations, and pretty much the kitchen sink, but no Resident Evil 2 remake whatsoever. So by the time Resident Evil 7 was about to come out, there were rumors that Capcom was working on a Resident Evil 2 remake. Is it finally time, man? Is it finally time for the remake to come out? Well, Resident Evil 7 first. And then after that, at E3 2018, they finally revealed Resident Evil 2 has been remade! Yeah! So I went to E3 2018 trying to play Resident Evil 2, and the line was really long. Holy shit, I didn't get a chance to play it, but I did get to take some pictures with the zombies. Man, it's been a long time since that happened, and the T-virus hasn't infected me yet. So, January 2019, about 21 years after Resident Evil 2 came out on the PlayStation, Resident Evil 2 came out on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Well, it would have been nice to actually have Resident Evil 2 come out 20 years after in 2018, but you know, in 21 years, Resident Evil 2, the original, is now old enough to drink. So if you thought Capcom improved the original Resident Evil with its remake, holy crap, man. Remake is an understatement. I mean, this almost feels like a brand new, reimagined version of Resident Evil 2 that we know and love, and it's made even better. I mean, how could you already improve on perfection? So rather than doing the fixed camera angle just like the original Resident Evil remake back in 2002, they actually went with the Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6 method, but they actually made it better. But this time the gameplay is not entirely focused on the action. And I'm proud to say they actually not only retained, but they brought back the survival horror aspect of Resident Evil, which we loved from the first 3 games and Code Veronica before it became more action-packed like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. And just like with any Capcom remake, they did recast the voice actors. This time Nick Apostolides plays Leon Kennedy and Stephanie Panisello plays Claire Redfield. And both are really good, although not as memorable as the cheesy voice acting from 20 years ago, but still they are very good performers and I enjoyed their performances very much. And they definitely like to drop a lot of F-bombs in this game. Yeah, pretty much ever since Resident Evil 5, you know, the series language has kinda gotten a little, a lot more R-rated in recent years, yeah.
I'll get you, you fucker!
Whoa, Claire, there's a child present there, but holy shit, that was good. And I do like a lot of the voice actors, you know, Annette Birkin and Brian Irons aren't all dramatic and Shakespearean. I remember Brian Irons in the original was like, "They destroyed my city!" Now he's just more of a sleazy cop.
What are you gonna do to her?
None of your fucking business.
And Annette Birkin's no longer, "Well, my husband made the G-virus." Yeah, she's actually a lot more sympathetic in this game, and you kind of feel for her a little. And also, you do hear TJ Rotolo as William Birkin, and you kind of hear a bit of his Frank West. I covered wars, you know! Now, I have to say, probably the greatest thing about the Resident Evil 2 remake is that not only are the graphics are in, much higher detail, like there's no more loading time in between going inside doors, so it's more of a seamless experience, and pretty much because they're using more of the Resident Evil 7 engine, they did add a lot of elements from Resident Evil 7 in, kind of like, the lock clipper and the fuses that you have to use to power up some of the gates. Completely borrowed from Resident Evil 7. And Capcom actually used the lack of lighting, and especially the sound design, to give you a much more creepy experience, because in the original PlayStation version, all the areas are like really lit up because, the limitations at the time, but wow, the police station looks fucking frightening. Like, holy shit. Like, this one area that you're familiar with, it's flooded with water, there's boards everywhere, it's a lot more derelict, actually. Wow. And of course, the zombies look gruesome as shit. And holy shit, if you thought William Birkin looked scary as a whole bunch of pixels back on the PlayStation, oh my god, he looks frightening as fuck! And oh yeah, the lickers are scary too. And holy shit, the G-embryos. Now, the G-embryos, which you only encountered probably once in the original game, you encounter a lot of them in the sewers. Like, holy shit. And oh yes, let us talk about this guy, Mr. X. So in the original PlayStation version, Mr. X only chased you in the B scenarios, but this time in both Claire and Leon's A and B scenarios, Mr. X appears pretty much after you douse the flaming helicopter, and oh boy, when you hear that thumping and you hear that music, you know Mr. X is on your tail. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit! Oh my god, Mr. X, please don't kill me! Ugh. Oh god, not the Sonic statue! Yeah, so you can't exactly take your time and solve puzzles because Mr. X is gonna be on your tail pretty much most of the game until the end. I'm trying to push the bookcase puzzle, but Mr. X is thumping us. Ah! And while the remake does follow a lot of the beats of the original, there are a lot of differences in this game. So in the beginning, you encounter Marvin Brana, and he smashes a zombie's head for you. Thanks, Marvin, you're awesome. But then once you get all the medallions, Marvin says he can't go with you. And at this point, I was actually expecting Marvin to, But then you do re-encounter him as a zombie. Rest in peace, Marvin. And they actually do expand the STARS office this time, and Albert Wesker has his own office. Yes, he has his own office, and you do actually see the STARS photo from the original game, but you can't exactly pick it up. And I was kind of hoping that they would actually redo this photo, but have Edward, Dewey, and Kevin in the photo this time. And also, sadly, the Brad Vickers zombie is not in this game, but you do see Brad Vickers on a poster advertising the Raccoon City Police Department job fair. Brad Vickers. Learn to act like a chicken. They actually did change a lot of puzzles around. They did move around a couple of the puzzles, and they did repurpose a couple of the puzzles. Like, the library, when you have to actually push the bookcases in the right order, but this time you actually have to push them to get across a passage so you can get to the clock tower. And in the original, when you encountered Ada Wong, she says she was looking for her boyfriend John, who worked for Umbrella. Yeah, because there was a puzzle, John and Ada, in the original game. But this time she doesn't mention any of that and says she's for the FBI. Agent Ada Wong, FBI. I kind of like that, actually. And actually, Robert Kendo from the Kendo Gun Shop actually has a lot more emotional depth to him rather than, well, by the time he noticed something was wrong, the entire city was filled with zombies. He actually has a daughter who's been infected, and he's like, just give us some privacy, man. Just give us some privacy. The feels, man. The feels. Ode to you, Robert Kendo. An ode to you. And they do actually change the areas up a bit. So this time the sewer area is a lot bigger, and they got rid of the small factory area. And actually the Umbrella Lab is a lot shorter in this game. They combined the Ivy monsters with the zombies, creating, new Ivies, which are kind of a combination of zombie plant monsters who are scary as fuck. Oh my god. Oh, those Ivies. You better fry them like a bitch. And also, if you're playing Leon's scenario, Ada has a hacking gun. Yes, a hacking gun back in 1998. Where can I get one of those? And also there's a Stars USB dongle. Now, I know USB ports have been available since 1996 or so, but they weren't really mainstream until probably the really early 2000s, so I do kind of feel like the Stars USB dongle is a bit out of place, but probably since Raccoon City's been funded by Umbrella, I guess they can afford, USB stuff. And there actually is a new location in Claire's scenario, which is the orphanage, where you play as Sherry after Brian Irons takes her away, and then you gotta escape from Brian Irons after throwing acid in his face and turning him basically into Two-Face. You either die a villain or become a villain. I don't know. Ben was a reporter, but he actually locked himself in a jail cell to be safe. But in this game, he was actually locked in by Brian Irons, and you had to actually, get the parking pass out of him. But then Mr. X comes out and smashes his brains like a scrambled egg. Ugh. So in this game, Irons does get killed by a William Birkin embryo, and this time Mr. X is actually killed by William Birkin himself. Plot twist! But in Leon's scenario, just like in the original, you do fight Mr. X at the end, and Ada does throw you the rocket launcher like in the original. And in this game, they do play up the Ada and Leon romance a lot better than they did in the original, mostly how they handled the Ada and Leon romance in the Dark Side Chronicles. Although when Ada does get shot, it is emotional, but not as overly dramatic and as memorable as the original, and I do kind of miss Leon going, Ada! This is what everyone's been dying for. So just like in the original, you don't exactly get, the full ending after you beat the A scenario, but then when you beat the B scenario, you do get the full fight with William Birkin, and holy shit, he looks much more gruesome at the end of this game. And they do a bit of a nod to the original too with the eyeball and stuff. And this game does kind of pair up Leon and Claire a little more. Sherry's like, are you guys gonna adopt me? Are you boyfriend and girlfriend? And also in Claire's scenario, Claire's like, so Sherry, what do you want to do when we get out of here? Well, I want to see where you live. Well, I gotta take a shower. Ooh, I smell really bad, don't I? Well, Claire, you basically were traveling around in a sewer kind of filled with piss, shit, and a lot of other dirty shit, and probably every bacteria known to man. So yeah, I think you're gonna need about 10 showers to clear all that up. So once you finish the B scenario, you do unlock the 4th Survivor with Hunk, which is every bit as difficult as the original, but you do get a little more ammo and some healing items. And then after that, you unlock Tofu, which is every bit as impossible as the original one. And a couple of weeks after the game was released, they actually added some new DLC called the Ghost Survivors, where you get to play as Robert Kendo trying to escape the city from the zombies. You get to play as the mayor's daughter after she escapes from Brian Irons, and you get to play as another Umbrella soldier, and you do get to play as the sheriff as the beginning in kind of more of a, fend yourself against the zombies type of minigame, and they're all really good, although they are really short and they could all be beaten within 10 minutes, but it is nice DLC. And if you actually paid for the deluxe edition, you actually get to unlock the original PlayStation music, and even after 20 years, it still fits in so well with the atmosphere. Oh my god, just hear it, man.
Anybody here?
And also, you do get to unlock the original 1998 costumes, which look really good on the characters. And obviously, when you first play it, you're probably going to spend around 8 or so hours trying to beat the game. But once you get the hang of it, it flows a lot like the original, and then you can beat it within like 2 hours or less. And of course, if you can beat the game within 2 hours without using a lot of saves, you can unlock the infinity weapons, and if you can actually beat the hardcore mode under 3 hours and with very, very minimal saving, which is really, really hard, you get to unlock the infinite rocket launcher, the minigun, and the infinite machine gun, and makes zombie killing so much fun, baby. Oh yeah. So Resident Evil 2 back in the day was already a perfect game, like the epitome of a perfect Resident Evil game, and then the remake completely surpasses it and blows it out of the water in almost every single way. Not only are the graphics and the voice acting improved, the atmosphere is a lot scary, the sound design is amazing, and there's a lot more emotional touch to the story, just like in the original. This is a game that surpasses the classic one, and is going to be a classic, and I can't wait for the Resident Evil 2 remake in another 20 years, where we can probably play it by probing it into our minds. Whoa! Alright guys, so that ends this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories about Resident Evil 2, the remake. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think Mr. X is coming, guys! Okay guys, Mr. X won't find me here. Oh come on, not the popcorn! This video has been brought to you by A Winner Is You, the funniest video game quotes with snarky commentary. Buy the book now at the link below. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, especially subscribe, and make sure to click on that notification bell so you know when we release new videos, cause YouTube won't tell you. And if you want to see me stream games, you can follow me on twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus or mixer.com/BattleGeekPlus. And if you have a Twitch Prime subscription, you can subscribe to BattleGeek Plus on Twitch for awesome perks like emotes and subscriber badges. Also, make sure to support BattleGeek Plus at Patreon at patreon.com/Ryan Molina because every dollar helps me bring you a better show. And make sure to follow me on Twitter at @RyanMolina and at BattleGeek Plus. And make sure to check out the BattleGeek Plus website for BattleGeek Plus merchandise, books, and a lot more.